You're good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good afternoon, everyone. The meeting of the Sacramento Housing Authority and City Council will come to order. Would the clerk please call the roll to establish quorum?
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby?
Here.
Councilmember Laloe?
Here.
Councilmember Harris?
Here.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Here.
Vice Mayor Chenier?
Here.
Councilmember Guerra? I expect Councilmember Garrett momentarily. Councilmember Jennings?
I'm here.
Councilmember Vang?
Here.
And Mayor Steinberg.
I am here. Welcome to the members, the staff from the Housing Authority, and to the members of the public. The meeting is starting a few minutes late today, I think for obvious reasons. We were all anticipating the verdict in the George Floyd murder case, and the verdict was returned. And I think it's appropriate as mayor of the city that I make a brief statement. And I would invite members, probably not at the beginning here, but either, at the end of this meeting, if you choose, or tonight, maybe more appropriately during the regular city council meeting, to add anything that you want to add. But I will say this on my behalf, and I hope on behalf of the city. These guilty verdicts are not the end of the quest for justice, but a necessary beginning. Our country's most persistent virus, racism, will not be wiped away with one verdict. But this jury's decision offers hope that our criminal justice system can hold law enforcement officers to account when they needlessly take the lives of the people they are sworn to protect and serve, and who pose no real threat. George Floyd's death, his murder, prompted a collective outcry that was a catalyst for our city to continue making significant police reforms. We will continue our quest for transparency, accountability, and humane policing. Thank you. Let us proceed to the business of the day.
Do you want to do the pledge, Mr. Mayor?
We should do the pledge. Of course, we should. Thank you, Councilmember Vice Mayor Chenier. Why don't you lead us?
Sure. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you for reminding me again. Executive.
It's in our job description.
Yes, thank you. Executive Director Lachelle Dozier. We've got 5 items today, 4 on the public hearing side and 1 on the discussion side. Why don't we begin with item 1, please?
So item number 1, we have Mark Hamilton here is going to do a very brief presentation.
All right. Good afternoon, Chair, Madam Clerk, and members of the Housing Authority Board. My name is Mark Hamilton. I am a Director of Public Housing here at SHRA. Item number 1 before you is an item related to the Section 18 scattered site application that was previously considered and approved by this body in 2018 by Resolution 2018-0019 to effectively convert public housing units of 4 units or less to the project-based Section 8 program as part of the Housing Authority's asset repositioning plan. This item adds an additional property that was erroneously omitted on the original resolution. It is the property located at 7670 22nd Street, as seen in Exhibit A. If approved, this property would be added to the list of converted properties and submitted to HUD. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Do we have public testimony on the item?
I have no callers on item 1.
All right, what about the members here? Members of the Housing Authority. I see none. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Jennings.
Councilmember
Yes.
Jennings, will you open and close the public hearing, please?
I will open and close the public hearing and move the item.
That's moved. I assume
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby seconds. Let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Gatta,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Aye.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Let's go now to item 2. This is a TEFRA hearing. Go right ahead.
Uh-oh. So this one is a TEFRA hearing for our rental assistance demonstration program. And we have our staff person, Susan BC, will be giving the presentation.
Good afternoon. I'm Susan Beasy, Program Manager in Development Finance. Today, we are requesting your approvals as we embark on the second phase of SHRA's efforts to convert our conventional public housing stock to a private ownership model to decrease reliance on the federal government and ensure both continued affordability and long-term physical stability. At this time, SHRA is taking on the conversion of 2 of our downtown senior developments, Edgewater, located at 626 Ice Street, and Capitol Terrace, located at 1820 Capitol Avenue. These 14 and 9-story buildings were both constructed in the early 1970s and are in need of repair and financial stabilization. Collectively, we are calling this project financing effort Central City. To carry out this conversion, we are requesting the council's approval to issue up to $40 million in mortgage revenue bonds and to approve a housing authority seller carryback loan, a ground lease loan, and a cash proceeds note from the housing authority. As you may recall, SHRA is using the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Rental Assistance Demonstration, or RAD program, to carry out these public housing conversions. In RAD, the units move away from the traditional public housing model to a voucher-style program that keeps the units affordable in a long-term contract. Capitol Terrace consists of 84 one-bedroom units, and Edgewater has 108 one-bedroom units. Each project includes a unit for an on-site manager, and the remainder of the units will be regulated at 50% and 60% of area median income. All of the affordable units will be covered by project-based vouchers, ensuring that residents pay no more than 30% of their adjusted income towards rent, regardless of how low their income is. This is no different from how the rent is currently charged under housing authority ownership. Dry fingers. And the new bond regulatory agreement ensures a minimum of 55 years of affordability. The project developer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. The project developer is the Sacramento Housing Authority Repositioning Program, or SHARP. SHARP is an SHRA affiliated nonprofit that will be a member of the limited partnership owner. The Housing Authority will continue to serve as property manager, and residents will continue to be pulled from the Housing Authority's waiting list. Life Steps will provide resident services at each property, 15 hours per week at Capitol Terrace and 20 hours per week at Edgewater. Services will be appropriate to the senior population. The scope of work for Capitol Terrace is significant and includes interior improvements of the unit, such as new refrigerators, ranges, cabinets. All units will have new bathrooms, enclosures, and toilets. Other improvements to the building include new flooring, repair and replacement of mechanical systems, installation of rooftop thermal solar, replacing windows and exterior finishes, ADA upgrades, weatherproofing, and so on. The scope of work for Edgewater is not as extensive due to a more recent remodel, but includes new flooring and new air conditioning units and a new security surveillance system. SHARP has procured professional relocation services to ensure that residents' needs are met during the time of construction. We are keenly aware of the vulnerability of this population, and all efforts to minimize disruption will be made. Residents of the Edgewater apartments will need to be temporarily relocated for an estimated 12 days, and residents of Capitol Terrace apartments may need to be temporarily relocated for approximately 42 days. The first priority will be to move residents to vacant units on site. And if vacant units are not available, then residents will be temporarily relocated to another public housing unit or a nearby motel. To recap, we are requesting approval of the issuance of bonds and other actions needed for the rehabilitation and long-term preservation of 2 senior projects in downtown Sacramento, collectively referred to as Central City or RAD Phase 2.
When we kind of set aside all the technicalities of the program and the asset repositioning, I just think 2 things I want to be clear on the record. Number 1, there's no financial implication for the city. And number 2, the tenants are going to continue to be protected as if it was traditional public housing. Am I correct on both of those assumptions?
Yes, you're correct.
Then let's go. Is there public testimony?
I have no callers on this item.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mayor, I threw my hand up and yeah, I was
Oh,
just.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to reinforce what you said and appreciate Lachelle and her staff for answering my questions about what this meant for current affordability and long-term affordability. And we're still going to own the land. It's all still protected. And that's just a creative way for us to try to figure out how to maintain our long-term commitment to what is older housing that needs to be renovated significantly, as was mentioned. So since this is in my district, I'd happily open and close the public hearing and move the item. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I see.
I'll second that. Yeah,
Go ahead, Jeff.
thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to second the motion. I do have a question. So there's a transfer of ownership implied in this as well. Is that correct? And can you explain that to me a little bit? Because it's somewhat vague to me. I don't understand who owns it, who's going to own it, and if money is changing hands to affect the sale.
So right now, it's owned by the Housing Authority, which is actually in a way on a federally owned because it's the federal government who provides all of the resources. And the agency is really hamstrung by that relationship. So in this case, under the conventional public housing platform, you can't access any equity, you can't access tax credits. And so out of necessity, when we're transitioning something from the conventional public housing platform, housing authority ownership at any housing authority, it requires a single asset entity, nonprofit entity to be able to take advantage of the resources that are used for pretty much all affordable housing, which is low-income housing tax credit. So in terms of money changing hands, it's basically a sort of a paper transaction, and the way the deal is structured is to be able to maximize the tax credit equity that we can get, which allows you to access tax credits for acquisition, for the actual cost of acquisition. So that's all built into the sources and uses. So in this case, there's no, in where I work in the development finance team, there's no gap in this deal. It's all transactional through the housing authority.
So if you recall, it will move from the housing authority operating on behalf of public housing under HUD to our nonprofit affiliate, which is SHARP. And so that nonprofit will be the new owner.
So if I've got you correctly, we have to own it so we can fix it.
We have to have an ownership interest, and so that we can make sure it is long-term affordable as well as leverage outside debt. Before, under public housing, you could not leverage any outside debt.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. I do appreciate it. And I second the motion.
Mayor, can I just ask a quick follow-up on that?
Of course.
Yeah, could you talk, especially for our new members, about the role of SHARP and the governance of SHARP and the budget of SHARP?
SHARP is the Sacramento Housing Asset Repositioning Program. It's a nonprofit affiliate of the agency, and there's a board of SHARP, and those members are appointed by the executive director, which is myself. And so there are 3 members from the agency who sit on the board and 2 outside members, who sit on the board. And that allows us to have this flexibility to do the creative financing that we need to do for these deals.
So basically, I mean, I understand the point, which I think is important, but it's more or less a wholly owned subsidiary of SHRA.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? I don't see any. Let's call the roll on the motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Aye.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes, very good. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to the next housing project. It's file item 4.
Good afternoon, Christine Weigert from Development Finance, and staff is recommending approval of issuance of tax-exempt mortgage revenue bonds, the construction of the Wong Center Senior Housing Community at 6th and F Streets in the rail yards. The senior development includes 134 one-bedrooms and 16 two-bedroom units in a 4-story building. The units will be affordable to households earning 50% or less of area median income. Amenities will include a community room with kitchens and meeting rooms, 3 outdoor community spaces, and a dog park. The developer is Mutual Housing of California, who will also be providing 20 hours of resident services and serve as the property manager. The 150-unit project will also help the rail yards master developer, LDK Ventures, meet the city's mixed income housing ordinance requirements. And the rail yards developers will also be donating the land to the project for free. In addition to the bonds and land donation, the project will be funded with low-income housing tax credits, a Wong family development loan, a general partnership capital contribution, and deferred developer fee. SHRA will be regulating and monitoring the units for 55 years. Staff recommends approval of the bond issuance and is available to answer any questions you may have.
Mayor, I do have my hand up.
Yes, go ahead, please, Jeff.
Thank you. Christine, the staff report lists this as District 4, but I believe it's in District 3, correct?
Yes, I apologize for that.
Yeah, I wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you.
Look, this is a great project associated with the rail yards. It's affordable housing for seniors, I believe operated by Mutual Housing, correct?
Yes.
I'm really glad to see this one getting out of the ground. So I'm happy to open and close the public hearing and move this item. Lachelle, just a clarification at one point. We discussed this the other day. Currently, if I'm correct, District 3 has more affordable housing under construction than anywhere in the city, and in fact, more than has been built in many years. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct. The Mirasol project is the largest affordable project that we have.
Well, it's a nice distinction, and I'm proud to have it. And thank you for all your efforts. So I move the item, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent.
Second.
Moved and seconded, more affordable housing. Thank you. It's great. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one caller on this item.
Oh, go.
May I have the caller, please? Welcome to the meeting. You have 2 minutes to address the council.
That is correct. The Mirasol project is the largest.
Welcome to the meeting. You have 2 minutes to address the council.
Person's talking. We can't hear them.
Correct. Please turn down the device that you're watching the meeting on. It's your turn to address the council.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes to address the council. Please proceed.
The council members are speaking.
Caller, it's your turn to address the council. Please proceed.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Mayor Steinberg, fellow members of City Council, this is Keith Bloom with Mutual Housing. It's Keith Bloom with Mutual Housing California. I'm sorry for the communication problems. I just wanted to thank please turn down the device that you're watching the meeting. The device is off. Can the council hear me?
Yep, we hear you. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Sorry again. This is Keith Bloom with Mutual Housing California. I'm the acquisitions director for Mutual Housing. I just wanted to thank Lachelle and Christine and the rest of SHRA staff for working with us on the Wong Center project. And we look forward to obtaining the remainder of the project financing over the rest of this year and breaking ground hopefully early next year.
That's excellent. Thank you for calling in. Is there anyone else?
I have no more callers, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on great project. Please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
An enthusiastic yes.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. Okay, let's move on now to item 4, please.
Afternoon, Susan Beasy again, Program Manager. Today, we are asking for your support for the refinancing of another Housing Authority asset, Riverview Plaza, which houses SHRA offices and other commercial space on its first 2 floors and 123 apartments for low-income seniors on the upper 14 floors at 600 I Street. This refinancing is not part of the RAD conversion that we discussed earlier, as Riverview Plaza is not part of the conventional public housing inventory. It is, however, currently owned by the Housing Authority of the City of Sacramento and a nonprofit general partner, Sacramento Housing Development Corporation, the board of which consists of the members of the County Board of Supervisors. We are requesting the council's approval to issue up to $31 million in mortgage revenue bonds and approval of a Housing Authority seller carryback loan and a ground lease loan. If approved, this recapitalization effort will result in increased financial stability and renovations of the residential floors, including refreshing the units, replacing flooring, and installing a new security camera system. Other important repairs include replacing windows, water heaters, PTAC units, and plumbing fixtures. Such replacements will result in increased energy efficiency for the building. The regulated affordability levels will range from 50% of area median income to 80% of area median income. However, similar to the Central City deals, all of the units will have project-based vouchers, which allow residents to pay no more than 30% of their adjusted income towards rent, regardless of how low their income is. All units will be subject to a 55-year regulatory agreement to preserve long-term affordability. Sacramento Housing Authority Repositioning Program, or SHARP, the nonprofit developer arm of SHRA, is the developer and will be a member of the limited partnership owner. The Housing Authority will continue to manage Riverview. Life Steps will provide 20 hours per week of resident services to support the needs of the senior population. As with the Central City Rehab, SHARP has procured professional relocation services to ensure the smooth transition for seniors as their units are being refreshed. Residents are expected to be temporarily relocated for approximately 47 days and will be provided with accommodations within the building or in proximity to the project site. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the bond issuance and other actions required for the rehabilitation of Riverview Plaza.
Thank you. Do we have public testimony?
I have no callers on this item.
Are there questions from the members?
Lots of activity in District 4 today, Mayor, but with that, I'd happily open and close the public hearing and move this item.
Be my pleasure to add a second to that.
Okay. Let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Yeah. Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Aye.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Aye. The last item of the day is file item 5.
This is a development in the North Lake community, senior apartments. We have Christine's going to give the presentation.
Good afternoon again, Christine Weigert. On September 22nd of 2020, your board approved issuance of tax-exempt mortgage revenue bonds to provide acquisition and construction financing for the North Lake Senior Apartments. As you may recall, North Lake will be a new construction affordable housing development for seniors located in the new Greenbrier subdivision near Highway 99 and Interstate 5 in North Natomas. The 191 unit project will meet the city's mixed income housing ordinance obligation for the new subdivision. The developer is St. Anton, and the project will consist of 155 one-bedrooms and 36 two-bedroom units, affordable to seniors earning 50 and 60% of area median income or less. In addition to the bonds, the project will be financed with low-income housing tax credits, a general partnership loan, and a deferred developer fee. SHRA will monitor and regulate the units for 55 years. Staff is recommending approval of the documents necessary to issue the bonds for North Lake Senior Apartments and is available to answer any questions you may have.
All right.
Mayor, I'm happy to open and close the public hearing and move the item and thank SHRA for their great work. Appreciate it. It's a really good project leading off out there in North Lake with senior affordable. So thank you to the whole crew over there at SHRA.
Very good. Thank you. Good work today. We're proving a lot of units here today. It's great. Thank you, SHRA. Was there a second on that motion?
Second.
There's a second. No public testimony. Let us then call the roll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Councilmember Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye. Either
Councilmember
way,
Guerra,
aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right. Unanimous all the way through here. Thank you all, members. That is the end of the meeting. Do we have public testimony on items not on the agenda?
We have no callers for matters not on the agenda.
And do we have council ideas or questions?
I just, Mayor, would like to thank Lachelle for talking to me about the terraces and look forward to working with her to continue to support those important affordable units in the districts. Thank you, Lachelle.
Yeah, excellent. Well, is there an executive director's report?
I just really want to thank the council. I mean, it sounds like it was quick, but we did 341 new units just this afternoon and 324 rehab of senior units. So I think sometimes we go by it so quickly, we don't realize the magnitude of the work that we're doing, and we thank you for your support.
Well, thank you for laying the foundation and bringing this forward to us. It's exactly what we want to do and what we need to do even more of. So let's schedule more 20-minute meetings. Same. All right. If there's nothing else to come before the Housing Authority City Council, we will be adjourned. We have closed session at 4 o'clock and the City Council meeting at 5 o'clock. Thank you all very much. We're adjourned.